I just finished watching Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, and if I had to describe it in one word, amazing. Demon Slayer has always and will always have a place in my heart, a very special place in my heart because, quick backstory about it, this was around the time of, I say around 2 or 3 years ago. I was finally able to convince myself and tell myself that, hey, I grew up watching anime on Toonami or Adult Swim. Now I'm around a time to when everything's changed to the point to when I can finally watch things on my own. I can finally start watching anime series again. The first anime that I came across is Demon Slayer. It was fresh on the scene. It was popping. All the manga readers love it. Really took the world by storm back then. So ever since episode one up until this point, I've just fell in love with it. It's been one of my favorites that I've ever seen. And I believe that when it's all said and done, it's going to be in my top five favorite anime of all time. It was top 10, but once I see all this stuff play out, I can very convince myself that it's going to be top five. So when I seen that Demon Slayer going to put out a movie, I was very excited, of course. But the thing is, it was only in theaters. Our movie theater in my local area has closed down years ago. And now, with so much stuff happening in my life, I just could never have myself to go to a movie theater to see it. So I try my best to avoid as many spoilers as possible, even though I did get spoiled by one or two things. But for the most part, I did a really good job. Now it finally dropped on Crunchyroll. I told myself that this weekend, first thing in the morning, I'm gonna watch this movie. And I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I was able to watch how amazing this is. Here's my thoughts on the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie. How do I feel about it? Let's get on with it. Movie starts off with pretty much the intro of how we've seen all the different house heroes falling down individually. We've seen them in groups. Pretty much how we've seen like the cliffhangers of pretty much whatnot. It's just a simple introduction to let us know that things are about to happen. But before that, we get to the point where Guillaume had the conversation with the master. Guillaume was put upon to pretty much finish the job for his master because the master believed that Muzan was on his way over there, and he wanted Guillaume to be the one to hash things out. He told him the only way you kill Muzan is to endure until sunrise. Beheading him ain't enough. Now imagine that. Imagine you're a Hashira. You was told the only way to kill a demon is to behead them. And you're telling me that the head honcho of the upper moons and the lower moons, even if you behead him, it ain't enough. You just have to survive until daylight. And now they're in this infinity castle where there's just nothing but darkness. They're gonna have lights from the buildings, but you they can't tell if it's even daylight. So they're just literally having to survive. That's just a crazy scenario to be in. Fast forward to the first fight that we have. It was between Shinobu and Doma, aka Upper Moon 2. The story behind that was pretty much Shinobu ends up pinpointing the fact that Doma was the demon that killed her older sister. We've seen the flashbacks that we always seen, just pretty much adding on to the lore of how important this is. I'm gonna make this one quick because this was the one thing that I did get spoiled by, unfortunately. And yes, I did get spoiled about Shinobu's death. I found out in both a random clip on TikTok and a happy birthday post from her in the comment section on Instagram. I vividly read someone say our favorite little dead butterfly or something like that. I was just like, oh wow. And I tried to shift away from it as much as possible so I can forget about it, but I'm the type of person that once I see it visually, it just engraved in my brain. It is very hard for me to do that. So unfortunately, I did get spoiled of Shinobu's death. I ain't let it take away from how great the fight was and how intense everything was. Good thing is I didn't know how she died. I just know that she died. And how she went out, I ain't gonna lie, bro. It was tragic because I just remember this scene to when she did the final blow, injected all the poison, she's falling down, and the man was just recovering from all kind of stuff. She poisoned that man one time, she poisoned that man 5 times in one go. She literally put everything in that one strike for it to basically be ineffective. That hurt. That really did hurt seeing that. And then he caught her, pulled her in, hugged her tight as he can, squeezing her. And he was crying and he was just talking about how, oh, y'all humans are so delicate, but y'all so frail, and this should be celebrated as you literally about to finish this woman off. That was just crazy. And then to the point when fast forward that he was absorbing Shinobu, absorbing all her nutrients. Her her entire body absorbed inside Doma's body, and Kanao had to witness all that. That to me, did something to me, man, because Shinobu was one of my favorite Hashiras. I think she's my second favorite behind Giyu, and she just went out like that. I mean, overall, it was just a bad matchup from the beginning. Ever since he was just absorbing toxin, was just taunting her the whole time. I just thought to myself, man, this is just a bad matchup. And it's just one of those anime moments you seen to when you just wish that it didn't happen. It is what it is. So the next fight we have is Zenitsu versus, I forgot the dude's actual name, but he was a upper six. I think his name was Kanjako or I forgot the man's name. I know it started K. I read it. Main story behind that, and I think this was the most anticipated one because we seen the whole still shot of Zenitsu giving this man the death stare. The whole story behind that was these two guys grew up together. They grew up under their gramps. And instead of the gramps making the upper six the main successor, he wanted upper six and Zenitsu to be co-successors. So when these two guys are pretty much on the same level. The thing is, upper six didn't like that because he didn't like the fact that Zenitsu only knew first form of lightning when Upper Six knew all the other forms except the first form. So he felt disrespected. He felt as if he always views Zenitsu as his favorite because why he stuck out with him so long. He's clearly better than him. He know more than him. Bigger, stronger, this, that, and the third. Back and forth was there, and I was just seeing Zenitsu just pretty much spam first form. Bro was on that, and we got to the ending to when Zenitsu was falling down from a delivering blow from, I think it was Upper Six's eighth form that he used on him. He had Zenitsu had cracks on him. He was falling down, and he was saying he was burning from the inside. And then all of a sudden, as Zenitsu was falling down, he caught himself. He got in the same position as he normally would do with first form. But in the midst of that, I heard him say seventh form. I was like, he got a seventh form? He beheaded him. Both forms fall to their deaths. In Upper Six, as he was being disintegrated, he was talking about, oh, well, Zenitsu's going to die with me. He's going to go to hell with me. We're going to go together. The Tamio literally came out of nowhere. I don't even know how he even knew what was going on. He just came out of nowhere, saved Zenitsu, and Upper Six was gone. That's just how that went. I thought that was great as well. I was just sitting there because I'm the type of viewer that I don't really say too much. Like I see when people do like reaction stuff, they react like every like 10 seconds or whatnot. I don't really mind that. But to me, I just wanted to watch and listen to what's going on. And then when moments are just too good, I just have to say something. That's the type of person I am. We gotta move on to the third and final fight, aka well, I believe the best fight. It had the best moments, the best of everything. Giyu and Tanjiro versus Akaza, aka Upper 3. I can't really hate on Akaza. He's my favorite Upper Moon. He's my favorite demon character. That's my dog. Yeah, I understand that he took out Rengoku and I rock with Rengoku. Just like I rock with all Hashiras. And I like all the Hashiras. Akaza's still my dog. Like his design, his fighting style, voice acting, all that. He was one of those villains that you just love. He's one of those villains that do their job so good that you just always gotta show love for them, no matter what they do. But anyway, the thesis behind this is we go to see Akaza's past to when he was one of those pretty much criminals who would go out steal people's money left and right, pickpocketing them. He was doing it with the sole fact that he was trying to buy medicine for his bedridden father. But Agusa kept getting caught. He kept getting punished left and right. He was getting tattoos that marked all the times that he did a criminal act. He did it so much that it pretty much ultimately led to his father pretty much took matters in his own hands, if you catch my drift. So it would have Akaza turn into a blind rage, in which would ultimately lead to him meeting this guy named Soya. I think Soya, the master of this dojo. He ended up taking Akaza on his wing. He ended up meeting the master's daughter, whose name was Kyoko. She was bedridden herself. And the reason that was important because the father's last word to Agusa was to live an honest life and you will be able to start over. So seeing Kyoko bedridden like that, just like her father similarly, that was an act of his own of, hey, you can start over fresh. Like you're in the dojo, you have somebody to take care of you, you have somebody that look at you as their son. This is your opportunity to start over. He did that. He honored it. He was training left to right, taking care of Kyoko for years, up until he was 18, be at the helm of the dojo and to marry Kyoko. Everything was starting to go good. Agusa's life started to turn around. He finally was able to live a great life. Knowing Demon Slayer, all that went downhill. People getting poisoned. The father and the daughter died because of the poison, which will lead to Agusa go to a blind rage again, killing a whole bunch of members that poisoned those people, which means that Agusa was right back where he started. He was right back at square one. He was right back to his old ways. He meets up with Muzan out of nowhere. Muzan injects him with his blood, turns into a demon, and the rest is pretty much history. The reason why I believe that this was the best part of this movie is because there was just so much. I think the best moment of this entire movie is when Tanjiro was able to be in this void that was in the midst of Akaza's techniques. And Giyu had his sword punched in half and it was broken. And he was pretty much nearly down and out. And Tanjiro was just walking just gracefully. He was just walking smoothly, dodging his attacks, deflecting his attacks. Next thing you know, Akaza got distracted a little bit. And Tanjiro beheads this man with a clean slate. It was one of those things to when a swordsman slices someone's head off and it's just silence. It was one of those moments, but that ain't the actual moment I'm talking about. Right after that, they were celebrating. They was thinking, "Oh, it's over. I beheaded him." Next thing you know, Akaza's body started moving on its own. It literally regenerated. You see a little. It's like the neck right here, and then you get a little nud of it that's slightly above it. And think about this: Akaza's head is gone. Akaza's head is actually gone. But before that, Akaza caught his head, put it on his body, and tried to force it on there. Gyu throws his broken sword, able to hit him on the head, and that's how he actually lost his head. But now, up to the point, he had a nub up here, and his whole body generated. So I just had to point that out right quick. But staying on track, now it's Akaza's body, who is headless, going up against Giyu, who has a half his sword intact, and a Tanjiro who still have his sword intact, but his body is going numb. He's literally at his limit. So now they have to not only pass this limit, now they have to go to a point to when they have to stop Akaza's body from regenerating on itself, because moments later after that, we seen that his head will start to regenerate, which means if Akaza gets his head back to his form, there were no stopping him with those two people. Giyu and Tanjiro would be done. They would be done. To Akaza's demise, he ended up trying to go for the same attack that killed Rengoku. Tanjiro recognizes it. He dodged Giyu out of range, which would lead to Akaza performing that move on himself, which would ultimately lead to his demise. I was thinking because of the fact that they were in range, that he was able to attack Rengoku and kill him, but since they were out of range, Akaza had to transition the whole attack towards himself, which would lead to Akaza pretty much ending pretty much killing himself, pretty much. This is the one of the reasons why he was my dog, bro, because now he was getting all the flashbacks. Now Akaza's seeing his people in the afterlife, and he's seen his father, he's seen his master, he's seen his fiance, seeing all that, and now that still, and now we all seen the still shot of Kyoko holding Akaza, hugging her, crying over him. We all seen that still shot. When I first saw it and I recognized it, my eyes were watering a little bit. It was. My eyes was a little watery. I didn't cry, but I got emotional a little bit because once again, that was my dog. Moments later, Akaza officially was been killed, which lead to Giyu and Tanjiro passing out. The Ravens announced it to everyone, and that's how that fight ended. I mean, that was just amazing, man. That was about the latter part or towards the end of the movie. We seen the three people that was with the Ravens. They were mapping out the place, and the person behind the guitar kept expanding to help hide Muzan, who was in the nucleus, who literally wasn't even on set. He's literally inside the nucleus. And that's how the movie ended. My final thoughts on the movie, I do believe that it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I was stunned by a lot of the moments, a lot of the fights that was here. The dialogue was great. Everything about it was something that I will be complaining about. If I did have to point out something that I have to just criticize a little bit, yeah, it was a lot of flashbacks that kind of ruined the flow of the fights and the combat. But doing with the format that they had, that stuff pretty much is a given because they have to put it in somewhere. They had to let people know the reasons behind why people are doing what they're doing, what their motives are. So I can't be mad at that, but it is something that people do have to point out. So it is all people can do at this point. Well, I just have to end it off by saying this. I will never get behind when people say the only good thing about this anime is the animation. I will never get behind that. There's no way that you see these people's stories, you see these people as individuals. Did these demons are demons because of uncertainty, because of stuff that was unfortunate happened to them. These people didn't just wake up out the room evil. These people weren't all for one from My Hero. He just woke up an evil person. All these people had circumstances that led to them to be evil, which add on to their story. And the story wasn't repetitive with those demons either. They all have their own individual reason as to why they're the demons that they are today. Yeah, I understand that from Tanjiro's story, it is basic, but I don't think a story has to be complex in order for it to be good. I don't think it had to be full of cliffhangers and full of things that people can think about as far as think piece in order for it to be good. If you can tell a basic story in a really good way, it is a really good story, in my opinion. I don't think stories have to be having so many layers on top of it in order for it to be a good one. But just because it's basic doesn't mean it's bad. Does it? Just because it's complex doesn't make it good. That's just how I personally feel about it. I will always love Demon Slayer. This will be one of my favorite animes of all time. I think once it's all said and done, it's going to be top 5 favorite of all time, in my opinion, to me personally. So, Infinity Castle Part 2 is going to be on its way one day. We're going to see how that goes. We still got to see how the rest of the Hashiras hold up. We still got Upper 2, Upper 1 to care about, and also moves on, of course. Let me know in the comments if you watched the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. What are your thoughts on it? Did you rock with it? Did you not rock with it? What could have made it better? Or do you think anything could have been changed? Or do you think nothing need to be changed? Let me know in the comments down below. And with that being said, I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out, y'all.